Welcome everybody. My name is Stephen Melin. I'm a music composer, arranger, and educator helping you to elevate your story. Today is an exciting day. We're doing a live stream introducing one plugin that should completely change the way you write music for 16-bit Super Nintendo style games. Now, it's no surprise that Super Nintendo music and the 16-bit style is in high demand right now, especially in indie games. And so the more tools you can have in your belt to create this style of music, the better. Now, I've already mentioned in some of the comments leading up to this video that no, this is not Super Audio Cart. That is Impact Soundworks. That's one of their flagship products, and it's incredible and it's super helpful, mainly for Game Boy style sounds and NES, a little bit of Sega Genesis, and a couple other things in there. They have some Super Nintendo representation in there, but what I'm going to share with you today is a brand new plugin from It Might Get Louder Productions, and it's going to rock your socks. So here we go. We're going to dive into this thing, and I know that the plugin creator, Ron, is actually joining us today, and I have a message from him to share towards the end of the video after the demo to help share the how and the why he came about with this plugin. It's a pretty funny story, and how you can actually get an exclusive 50% discount off of that. It's going to be wonderful. So let's jump in. I want to honor your time, and we're going to actually move over to the big screen over here. So as you can see, we're representing Koji. Now, many of you know Koji Kondo, very famous composer, most notably for the Legend of Zelda series and the Super Mario Brothers series. He's written hundreds of games. And especially in the early days, he was the go-to composer for Nintendo. And so you can see here that Super Mario World was one of the flagship games for the Super Nintendo, and then even later with Super Mario 64 on the N64. This was a launch day title that anyone who bought a Super Nintendo played Super Mario World. And so taking this title and deconstructing it into an actual sample instrument is one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. So when originally speaking with Ron, the creator of this plugin, he was explaining to me that he actually found the old keyboards used by the Super Nintendo composers. And so not to go into a huge lecture on that because we got to write some music, but the basic idea is that the Super Nintendo composers, in order to actually get music into the game, is they had to create MIDI tracks as we know it. And MIDI just reads data, right? But they had to have sounds to load from the actual cartridge. And so that tiny little bit of ROM, they had a tiny bit of memory to work with, basically. And so the ROM, the actual game file cartridge, could only hold, I don't remember the exact amount, but it's like not even a megabyte. It's a tiny amount of kilobytes, to where the instruments themselves had to be really small. They had to have incredibly short attacks and incredibly short releases. And so what most composers did is they would use kind of the Nintendo sound sets, but they were really crappy. And so the good composers, such as Koji Kondo, would actually go and find these keyboards and say, oh, I really like that piano sound. I really like that go-go. I really like that electric piano. They would take that sound, record it, and then sample it down. So they would compress it down to a smaller sample size, bit crush it basically, as we know it today. So they would chop off the release and make it this tiny little sample and then apply it to the entire keyboard so that it saves as much room as possible so you can get a full orchestral palette, which is why composers like Nobuo Uematsu on the Final Fantasy games for Super Nintendo have these really lush, vast soundtracks, because he just compressed his files so small that he was able to write a lot of music. So really exciting stuff. So for our purposes today, we're going to be diving into Koji, obviously named after Koji Kondo. And so what Ron did is he took these keyboards and he compressed these little samples exactly like they would do with the Super Nintendo, and gave a few little controls on here that we can tinker with. And so I want to show you the interface. It's incredibly simple, and this is actually a standalone plugin. So what that means is in any DAW, you can throw this in. It can be a VST, a AA, what else do we have? A VST3, an AU, an audio unit if you're on Mac. And I'm on Mac right now, I'm on Logic, and so it pulls right up. If I were to go over here to my AU instruments, go to, it might get Loud Productions, boom, there it is, Koji. And so you can kind of see this little animation here. I think it's hilarious and totally nostalgic. This is actually a little animation of Ron fighting off these Ganon-esque skeleton creature things, but they're fighting over the music notes, and it's just funny. It's a cool little animation that goes on all the tracks. And basically the way this works is incredibly simple. All we do is we choose a sound. There are 57 sounds in here, and then we have 4 knobs to play with. Let me pull up my keyboard here so you can see. Cool. And I want to make sure that that's not lagging behind. Yeah, looks good to me. Hopefully that's live for you. Basically, I have these 4 little knobs here, and the most important is going to be the delay. So already by default, the release is cut short because those are the samples. So that's not going to do too much to the sound unless it's a longer sound. But the attack, if you want it to start later, you can really start to morph these sounds. And then on the delay side, you're actually using the same delay that would have been used in the Super Nintendo. And so every individual sound gets to be used in this way. And then of course you can mess with the feed and really come up with some cool stuff. But for now, I'll just kind of leave everything at the bottom and we can listen to the core sounds. And there's no way I'm gonna go through all of these right now, but just to show you some of the better sounds, and actually, to be honest, they're all good. And that's why I love this library, because it's small, but everything is high quality. And so it's all very usable right out of the box. And traditionally, as I've kind of prompted in some videos and things leading up to this live stream, the traditional way of creating 16-bit music is you have to create sounds. So you have to take a normal sound like a piano, electric piano, and you have to take that sample, you have to bit crush it down to the appropriate 16 bits, and then you have to make sure that the sample rate is small enough that it has that little, well, garbage kind of sound, a little bit of noise in there to get it to the appropriate aesthetic. And then we take that file, and then you have to play around with the EQ sometimes. You have to shorten the attack and the release to where it's a short enough sample, and you have to create your own instrument by applying it to either EXS24, a sampler, Contact, something like that. And then once you have that, you then have to play around with reverbs, delays, etc. So it's usually like 10 steps. By the time you get there, man, it's just nuts. It's a lot of work. And so what I've found is that to use something so simple, just to literally throw this plug on in, it's plug and play out of the box, have great sounds, you can create incredible music. And I think for most of you, this will be enough all by itself, that you can seriously pull this open and create music, and it's going to sound exactly like it came from Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda, whatever. So I'm really excited to do a live demo here today, where over the next hour, we're going to be creating our own track, probably a 30-second, 45-second track, I don't know. But I want to do something happy, something that would actually sound like that style, because compositionally, it's important to still try to emulate what was happening in that time, which typically means a bass line, some chords in the background for harmony, and a very clean and clear, singable, predictable melody, because that's kind of the style of Super Nintendo music. And then we create a loop out of that. So that's the goal here, is to do that. And then at the end, we'll have Ron come on and share some about the behind the scenes of how and why this was created. So I know that you guys, as you have questions, if you have comments, leave them. I know I've already skipped a bunch of them. I'll try to scroll through these really quick. I appreciate the kind words there, guys. And yes, Beard Blade, can't even say it right. Beard Blade is a 16-bit action platformer, and so that's why I decided to play that as the intro today. That's a game I've been working on for the last several years, actually. Glovebox Games is creating that, and it's all 16-bit Super Nintendo music. And so I thought that was appropriate. And I've had to work really, really hard to create all of the samples for that, because I've had to do it all from scratch. But man, if I had Koji at the start of this would be a game changer. It would be ridiculously easier. And in fact, I just finished the final track, the credits sequence. a few days ago, and that was right when I was playing around with the Koji keyboard, and I actually snuck some of these sounds in there because it's a big inspiration of mine. When composers in the end credits of a game, they've written with a specific palette instrument-wise for the entire game, and then at the very end, I love it when composers throw in one new instrument or two new instruments. So I'll show you what I used. I believe it was the agogo, which is the very first one on this. It's just a little palette change, because that's not a sound that's in any of the soundtracks so far. Just a nice little layer to add on top and have a little solo moment with this music box sounding instrument. So I found that to be really nostalgic, actually. And not to get too off topic, but end credits traditionally is a moment in the game where you're kind of sad. It's bittersweet because you're happy that you finally beat the game, but you're also sad that, oh no, it's over. So it's important to kind of tug at those nostalgia strings a little bit. So I find that this is so appropriate because this is like a snapshot of the 90s. It's so well done. And so let's get into it. And Matt said, for information, the entire game of Super Mario World on the SNES was 0.5 megabytes, the entire game. This means that audio was likely close to a fifth of that, around 0.1 megs. Thanks for that, Matt. I think that's good to know. And I'm not surprised at all about that. And hey, it looks like Ron is here. Ron is here. I'm excited. And yes, he just said with Steven's discount, it'll be just south of $20. That's a big deal, guys. That's considerably cheaper than the retail price. So I'm excited to share some of that information towards the end. But let's write some music, guys. Let's do it. I love that first sound. And here's my process. I'm just going to write. I have no preconceived notions here about or expectations about what I'm actually writing, but I'm going to do something happy, something fun. But I'm literally just going to pick a sound and go with it until I feel like it works. The first things first, I'm going to set a tempo here. Probably going to make it a little bit brighter, something like 140. Bum 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 da bum bum ba dum bum 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 da bum bum ba bum bum ba bum bum bum, something like that, right? It's kind of my thinking stage, and then I'll definitely get into it. Cool. That's my melody, so let's get a click. It's a little fast. Maybe 128. Let's see how that feels. There you go. It's kind of Chrono Trigger-esque. That's why I like that. And man, this sound like really inspires me. That's the whole point of samples, right? Is to achieve a certain sound. And so I think this right out of the gate, man, it's so inspirational. So let's take that. That was kind of swingy. I wonder if 16th notes quantization will capture it. It's kind of sonic, sonic-y. There it is. Now, my rule for myself is to only use Koji sounds today, which, yay, limitations. So just so we can follow along with what patches I'm using here. That was the go-go. Let's pull up some more. I'm gonna turn on my little ticker tape here. I don't even know what it's called, the chain, the link. That way when I go up and down between my patches, it'll actually switch to the appropriate channel. So let's try this one. I gotta get a bass in there. There's a lot of basses in this thing. Oh, and I forgot to mention this little D-pad here, it goes left and right. Isn't that so great? It actually changes samples like that. Now, here's one of the fun things about 16-bit is composers, because it was MIDI, and they weren't able to actually play it into a keyboard. Usually they had to, you know, actually type it all out and everything using the sequencers of the SNES. I'm not gonna get that, you know, that cranky about the authenticity, but their bass lines are so ridiculous. They're inhuman. And so I actually want to write something that's a little bit extreme. Like a bass player can't go, but that's the fun. I mean, some people could. Oh no, my Mario. That's what I get for yelling, for pushing really hard. Anyway, don't you love that? My camera is facing downward, so I have to put him sideways. But whatever, you got it. Yeah, you guys you're so kind. Yeah, and Ron said this has been a year in the making, so it's well paid off. We appreciate you, Ron. So just gonna call that synth bass. Stick with the appropriate titles. I don't want to go reggae. It's too slow. Man, I'm hovering in my tempo here. Whoopsies. Hello, Star Wars. I have a lot of Star Wars desktop backgrounds. A lot of game backgrounds too. Ooh, I have so many ideas. I have to ring it in. That's a problem. It's a good problem, guys. But I'm so inspired by this right now that I want to take like 10 different track directions, but I can't do that. I want to do something crazy, but I don't want it to get so in the way that it ruins it. That'll do for now. I'm kind of partial on that, but let's just, let's leave it. Let's move on. I'll probably find something else that works in a second. Half the fun of writing. Another thing is, in traditional MIDI, you can't stack notes. You can't be polyphonic, or else you're wasting an extra channel. So I don't want to play any two notes at the same time, at least for like a bass line. It's a waste of a channel. Like there, I can't have polyphony like that. Yeah, I'll do like... Use some diminished chords there. Why not? Let me step back. It's cool if I get it. Yay, music theory to the rescue. I'll clean that mess up. It might work, maybe not, but let's just kind of go with it, roll with it. Next, I need some kind of perk. What is that? A Taishi Kodo? Something cool. Maybe. That's giving me some strong Final Fantasy vibes. That sounds really close. I kind of want to do a boss track now, but whatever. Now it feels like Chrono Trigger, which is kind of the original idea. Yeah. Yay! All right, I'm gonna quantize everything, but at the end there it gets kind of crazy. What was this thing called? It sounds so cool. What is it? A Taisho Kodo. It sounds very Japanese. Taisho Kodo. Taisho Kodo. Did I spell that right? Maybe. Yeah, Taisho Kodo. I just put the attack a little bit later. To make it have that little bit of delay. kind of Mega Man X you could use that for. My favorite part about these sounds are that they're legal, obviously, but the usually, you know, when you have like sound font files ripped straight from the ROMs of games, that's totally illegal. And there's a lot of composers doing that, and it makes me a little upset that they don't want to create their own. If you're not going to create your own, use something like this that's really going to up your game. And mix this with your own stuff. You don't have to use just this, but mix it with stuff. If you have Super Audio Cart, use it and mix it with this. This is more of an orchestral palette anyway, which I love because that's what I remember Super Nintendo being versus the Sega Genesis, which is all FM based. Getting so lost here. Such a bad take. Let me just slow down the tempo so I can do it justice. Something like that. Whatever my notes were. Yeah, it's gonna be half that. Oh, let me speed up. Oh, I'm doing it too slow again, aren't I? Sorry for the wait. This is what live gets you. There we go. Back up to 128. Cool. Let's just keep rolling with it. Is this the best piece ever written? Maybe. Probably not. But, you know, we're doing it. An important note here is that whenever you go to a new patch, it keeps the settings of the last patch. Maybe that's because I copied, probably because I duplicated. I'm not sure if that's true of fresh patches, but who cares? Oh, that's such a good sound. It's really quiet, but I think it's good. Oh man, typewriter. That's so good. Like, you can do a lot of sound design with this stuff too. Like, that's a perfect, like a boss is coming, like a Mortal Kombat kind of thing. Again, a little quiet, but like, just take these samples and do stuff. Sure, why not? All right, we're just gonna call that technically a typewriter, but it's we'll just call it boss build. Sure. That's what I do half the time anyway when I'm making music. I just take whatever sounds good and run with it. Ukulele. Oh, Banjo-Kazooie, anybody? Nah. Hey, Mario Kart. mean, I'm not kidding, guys. I could literally write like 10 soundtracks right here. Which is my problem right now. I can't focus because I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Yeah, there we go. I'll call those bongos. Let's just do it. Waidako. It's a very like Japanese percussion based. I like it. I'll call them bongos. It's for my own sanity. Just goofing here. And honestly, I'm just gonna, for now, just for my amusement and because this is a demo, I want to show off maybe some of the slower side of things. I'm gonna try, I don't know. This was like a Yoshi kind of moment. So let's just slow it down. Because, you know, there's two sides to this whole thing. A bit slower. That's too slow. There it is. Cool. Love it. It's a lot more manageable than the fast stuff. Oh gosh. Gotta do triplets. To me, that's like the Nintendo sound. Versus maybe kind of some of the other stuff, which is more Capcom based, very, very electronic Super Nintendo stuff. Let's just keep rolling with it. What else we got in here to play around with? Wah voice. Fantastic. Yes, please. Does anybody remember the little face from Mario Paint? Kind of sounds like that. I want to do that. That's just so I don't know, Nintendo. Why not? Ooh, that's not in time at all. What did I do? Oh lordy. When quantization goes bad. Just do that. See if that works. There it is. Just make a few of those. I like that. And it's like asymmetric too, which makes it more fun. Cool. Let's jump into some kind of bass. I already did that one. Oh, snare. Oh, yeah. Man, it's had like 500 flashbacks to every 90s show ever. Keenan and Kel, all that. Salute your shorts, like everything. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I love this so much. Man, that's so good. It's really loud, but let's fix that. That's amazing. I love this. Let's do that. It's super quirky, but that's really fun. Let's use the same quantization. Nuno, this is called a trackball. So much better for your wrist. It allows me to flip between all my screens in one swipe, and I can map all these other side buttons to different functions. It was so nice when writing music. And note, I mean, sure, you can call this a PC mouse if you'd like to, but it's certainly not a Mac mouse. I mean, I'm on a Mac right now, but... Cool. I love that sound so much. Let's keep going, probably with a bass this time. That's kind of what I was missing earlier. This to me sounds more like Super Nintendo. What do we got? All kinds of fun things. 94 drum kit. Where was that my whole life? Oh, that's so good. Gosh, not that this track needs it, but just kind of, you know, experimenting if we were to go back to the beginning. Yes, please. I think I got it. Oh, I can't quite nail that. Sounds like one of those old, like those baby keyboards with like 10 buttons on them. Oh my gosh, this is gold. Let me use just that for a second. God, come on. I don't even know how to quantize that. Maybe 30-second note is the right one. No, I just was totally off time. What's going on? Maybe that's better. That's it. That's it. Sean, you just mentioned using these, my pads up here. I hate them. They're worthless to me. The only time I would use those is for like pads or something different than drums. I just think they're abysmal for drums. I get the purpose of them. It's like to actually grab drumsticks and to use them, but I've just, for so many years, I've used my fingers for drumming that I've just gotten so used to it. I'm actually a better keyboard drummer than I am a real drummer. Cool, that's a nice little addition to that guy. Working at 2 tracks at once, this is fun. As the inspiration hits. Still haven't found that bass yet that I want to put in this second section. Where are the other basses on? The Logic bass, that's probably it. That's a good bass. So fat. Really good for rock music, actually. It's fun. Okay then. Not sure I've ever written a track like this before. It's fun. Cool. It needs more, but you know. Yeah, this is, I mean, come on, I'm coming off the cuffs of Beer Blade music, which is all world maps and action-y, fun little sections. So yes, Matt, I totally agree. This is a cheeky platformer. And Blood Dragon says, seen a video the other day that most of our favorite video game OSTs are adaptations of hit records of the past. They probably use a lot of real songs as references due to familiarity or memorability. I totally agree. Yep. Yes, let's all give a shout out to Tony Kauko. He is the man who programmed Koji. Ron did the sampling, but then Tony is the mastermind that put all this together. So kudos. I love this thing. I've barely scratched the surface, but I will be using a lot of this in projects to come. I'm very excited about that. What else have we got? Ooh, some honky tonk piano. Yes, please. I haven't even heard it yet, but I already like it. If you're curious what headphones these are, I have an entire list, either from my website, stephenmelin.com, or go to my past YouTube videos or blog, and I have full list of all the gear I have and links to where you can find it and comparisons between popular brands and things. See, here's the time where I think playing around with these effects help. Let's just pause for a second. This is the coin sound. What I've learned from writing platformers, in particular for 16-bit era, is that you had to stay out of the way of the sound effects. So you should never play in that high range. It sounds like a sound effect, and then it gets in the way of everything. So get out of that range. Let's fix these timings here. That needs a little bit of breath. It says I'm using like a really strange timing here. I'm going to do this because I wrote a 5-bar phrase, which is abnormal. That's okay. It doesn't take away from anything. It just means we have to shift everything over. Like that. That way this actually has a chance to breathe. That just makes more sense. So I'll actually call this, since we're using some markers here, I'll call this intro, call this A. Let's call it like an instrumental break, A prime. That way we have some order here. Taking that delay off. I think that'll sit nicely in the background. Yes, Nuno, this works in all DAWs. It's a VST or a AUX, not AUX, AAX, etc. It'll work in anything. That's cool. I like that there. Copy this bass. That works well. I think that little piano thing should be in the second section. That's funny. I was over here like typing on my iPad while writing music. Welcome to my life. There it is. Bah, 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 bah. Ah, come on, brain, work. For those who have studied music theory, I'm trying to do an antecedent phrase, which means I'm trying to create a rhythmic phrase that has a consequential phrase, which means it goes the opposite direction. So I'm trying to do that for the third one. There it is. There it is. Now, this is a very classical That's kind of what Super Nintendo music is. Yay, harmony. Last time, you got this. No! Sorry for screaming at you. Shabam. Got it. See, that's so much more fun to me as a pianist to just force myself to do it than to try to go in there and type out all the MIDI notes and to edit it. That's dumb. That's what a 16th note triplet 124. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to edit just this harmonic line here to where it's not all thirds. I have 2 degrees in music. I have to use them at least once every once in a while. There it is. My theory professors from college would kill me if they knew if I did all that in parallel thirds, but I fixed it. See how much nicer and sophisticated that sounds? Now, just for an experiment, I want to take that same track, double it. And in case I hate it, I'm going to go ahead and make a third one. But what I want to do is actually only keep the top. So take a second. Let me play some Beard Blade music in the background while I edit. If I can grab it. There it is. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh no, it doesn't let me do both, for real? I just got really sad. I'm using OBS right now, and it does not like that idea. Bummer. Can you guys hear that right now? Because I can't. 1 second. I want to fix that because that's annoying. Because that means you can't hear the video later. Well, I can go back to here and you can listen there. Test, test, test. There it is. I fixed it. This just takes a minute, but it's worth it. Listening to some Beer Blade music. Not released yet. So this is kind of unreleased music you're hearing right now. This is the factory level you're listening to right now. All right, let's cut that off. So what I wanted to do is just split up those two different moments. That way we could have two different sounds, actually having a harmony. So I want to choose a different sound for the bottom. That way it's not just piano, but if I don't like it, then they can always go back. Let's try something like jazz guitar. See what I mean? It's a little bit nicer than just one instrument. Here's just the bottom. Oops, there's a couple moments I left in some harmony. So there. Hope you guys are having fun. This is fun for me. I think at least that guy's good. Yeah, he's good. The melody, I think that was worth doing. Just double checking my notes. Yep, that's spot on. Let's hear it together. One note is not together right here. Yeah, I'm loving it. Here's the whole track so far. Cool. I like that a lot. That's actually almost complete. It only needs like one more instrument. I think that'll be basically done. Nope. No elephant screeching today, unfortunately. Alec just asked, how often do you quantize notes? I often hear that having every note with exact timing makes the song sound mechanical. Now, this is a tricky one. Depends on the style of music. Super Nintendo music was all MIDI and it was all quantized. It was all perfectly computerized. So if you're trying to emulate that sound, it should definitely always be quantized. Otherwise, it's going to feel off. If you're trying to do live music or emulate live music, pianos, violins, etc., then yes, I would not quantize unless it's a strict beat that needs to be dead accurate. Otherwise, I usually do maybe some weird blend of the two. Quantization is a great place to start and then kind of take it from there. This needs something way extra. So let's keep going here. Let's see what else we got in the arsenal. Like 50 more sounds. Goodness gracious. Oh, that's nice. A nice little piano. I love this. Oh yes, here's the best part. Who just asked? Sean, how well do these samples respond to velocity? They don't. Now, before you go raving and killing poor Tony in the chat, Super Nintendo does not have velocities. That did not exist. That was not a thing with samples. Everything has the exact same sound, and it's literally one sound drawn across all of the notes of a piano, or a keyboard. That's why it has that weird warped sound. Like when I play low, it's very obvious that this sample exists somewhere in the C4 range. That's probably the original note. And then they just stretched it to all the others, which is why you get those crazy artifacts. Like down there, there's no way. That's not a piano. But what a cool sound. Right? And that's the whole point. So don't miss that. Don't be upset that that's not there because it's not supposed to be there. This is very, you can tell this was very meticulously crafted to sound exactly like that era, which they took all of the work out of it, which is fantastic. But just for fun, because I am a pianist and I am obsessed with video game music. Can we just like sit here for 2 hours and play video game tunes with this? I might actually do that. As many of you know, I do live streams a lot with video game music. So maybe this Friday, when I would normally do a video game cover, maybe I will just use this and do some things. So much you can do. I mean, Chrono Trigger, come on. Actually, I'm thinking of Secret of Mana right now. Oh, I could go all day. Quick, play Fairy Fountain. I'm a delay, right? What is it? I can't do this on a MIDI controller. I can't reach all the notes. There aren't enough notes. I could go over there, but that you can't see me. I'll do it later. But yeah, this is fun stuff. Could go all day with this, man. And one little plugin. It's like Final Fantasy VII, the remake, the better remake. Anyway, moving on. I'm totally off topic. Per usual. All right, let's see what else we can do with helping out with this harmony over here. Oh my, are you kidding me? Every 90s tune ever. Let's see if it actually fits. You know what this reminds me of is Super Mario RPG. Like that little frog pond. That actually might work. Because this is so quirky. Let's pause. Let's take a little sonic break. Let's go over to the first piece we were writing. Maybe throw some guitar in there. I know that Ron and Tony are metalheads, so of course they had to throw a metal guitar in here. It's only appropriate. Let's see what we can do. What is happening? They're power chords, that's why it sounds. I could go all day with that. Okay, since we have the creators in the room, I don't know how easy this would be to do, but if you could create a version of that metal guitar without two notes playing at the same time, that'd be even more usable. I like it together, it's a cool little preset, but like, that would be even more usable. Just that is so loud, as it should be. I mean, come on, it's metal guitar. I never even mentioned, I'm sorry everyone, we can always use the mod wheel to add vibrato. And then the pitch bend. All kinds of fun effects. Anyway, back to you regularly programmed. Ooh. What am I thinking of? That's so beautiful. That's gorgeous. That's their church organ. I could use that all day too. But not for these. What else we got? Whenever you try out these samples, guys, make sure that you're playing all of the notes, because just because it says bagpipe doesn't mean you can't use it as something else. So bagpipe, I think, sounds really cool low, even though the original sample was obviously much higher. Probably higher like here. Sounds okay. A little bit harder to fit because it's so nasally. But down here, it's really rumbly. Ooh, you hear that, everyone? The creators just said that there are a lot of new sounds that are going to be updated. A lot of sounds that didn't make the first cut, so there's gonna be more than this. That gets me really excited. So this is a bagpipe, yeah, right. There's such a usability here that goes beyond platformer. You know what I mean? This reminds me of Secret of Mana as well. The yum ba yum ba yum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba yum da da da. You know that thing. Yay. I love these. I could go all day just kind of playing with them. How cute. I love it. There you go. There's your flute. There's your sad flute. Go back to the music. Whoa. I like that a lot. I just gotta turn it down. This is the synth brass. That works really well. I need to fix my release. I think I messed that up. You can make it instant, as you should. A little bit higher than instant. Just gotta play with every sample until you get it how you like it. You can do a lot of stuff, right? don't want to cover up my other instruments too much. Cool. So that actually answers my dilemma earlier. That should work there. With my final chords, I finally know what I want. I'm gonna do the same thing just because it's the Koji Kondo chord progression, which is 6-7-1, flat 6, flat 7-1. We're in the key of C major, so A flat, B flat, C. It's a great, great resolution if we're starting on a 4 chord, which is F, G, A minor, E minor, going back and forth there. So let me fix my bass, and we are almost done. Then we'll talk about the good stuff of how this sample library came to be and how you can get it for a sharp discount. Let's make some music. Don't think I did that here. Gotta fix him as well. Right, that's how you do it, folks, right there. Get those notes fixed. Just play it again. Play just the part you need. Don't erase everything and redo everything. That's a waste of time. Just fix what you need. Yeah, we're talking about the Rickroll. Yeah, it's like a go-to video game progression. It's because it's that 80s Euro dance. That's where that comes from. Obviously famous for that. So it fits this style really well. Okie dokie. Oh, I hate this function in Logic. I forgot how to do this. There it is. There it is. It's short loop, but it's like, let's pretend like this is like the character selection screen or something, right? I feel like that Go-Go could use some support. Since we got a few minutes left. Let me fix the end. Now that I change chords. This is getting good. Oh, we're doing this, guys. We're doing this. I just need to move everything. Oh my gosh. There it is. Just moving everything down. So I can make a little loop. It's too much information for one little 8 bars. You gotta kind of spread it out, make a little song out of it, which is not hard to do. Wait, what? How did I just kill everything? There. Oh, it's being weird. Whatever. Let me take this, copy it. At least do 2 repetitions. Come on. Anyway, I could develop that all day, but that's the idea. Cool, you get the idea, right? So let's call that done. Let's finish this other track and we'll get it out of here. To me, just needs like a little something right here, and then he'll be done. Yes, please. Cool, we have a track. So let's listen to that, and then we're gonna get to the other section of this live stream. Here it is. So that you heard track 1, now here's track 2, the slow one. This is good. I like this. And the purpose of a loop is to keep going, right?